I saw something that I had to comment on. There's this family, a mother and a father, who were thrown in jail. The dad for 13 years and the mom for 6 years. They both have 3 little kids. And they were thrown in jail for being jerks. They were part of some kind of protest, some respect the flag protest. And while they were in this protest, a group of other people showed up in another truck. They were in a truck with a bunch of flags. Another group of people showed up in another truck and took the lead in the parade and drove them by a house of black people. And in a moment of weakness and anger, they shouted racial obscenities at the black people. Happened to be a kid's birthday party, so there was a little kid here who had to hear racial slurs. The trucks had American flags and Confederate flags on it. And the judge, nobody got shot, nobody got raped, nobody was murdered, nobody was assaulted. There wasn't even a burning cross. 13 years for the father, 6 years for the mother. They have 3 little kids. These kids are going to grow up without knowing their father. They're going to spend the next 6 years without ever knowing their mother. This was not justice at all. People have gotten less time for rape. And where's the empathy? How many times have we seen a black mother on the news coming out and saying, "Don't punish my boy, please let it go, don't press charges," after he beat the crap out of somebody or robbed a store. Don't press charges against my boy. Your boy being somebody in his 20s. How many rapists do less than 5 years? Murder, assault, and rape can all land you in jail for less than 5 years. It's illegal to yell at people. You can be charged for harassment. Sure. But this is at best a fine. This should be a misdemeanor offense, a fine, and maybe community service. When compared to how else we punish things today. This was not about justice at all. What this was backlash for Donald Trump. This is a clear-cut example of the situation we're living in today. Western society is not supposed to have a social class. Western society is supposed to have an economic class. And our society is supposed to be merit-based. So your position in society is based on your worth, how hard you work, your talents, your abilities, the quality of your ideas. This means that status and positions of importance are constantly shifting. But a social class has developed based on race, with white people at the absolute bottom. And any and all white assertion, any attempt to stand up for yourself is seen as unacceptable. And this was a backlash by the establishment. It was a backlash against Donald Trump. It was a backlash against all supporters of Donald Trump and all white people. This was not about justice. This was about putting white people in their place. And it was just as much the black victim who wanted to do this as the judge himself. She has a kid. She just took a mother away from her children. Because why? Because she yelled at her. So a white woman yells at me, and now I'm going to get back at that white woman by punishing her children. What a vengeful, hateful thing to do. And then she has the gall in the courtroom to say, "I'm above hate." They both broke down and apologized. The mother and the father. If you're above hate, you wouldn't have been pressing charges. All they did was yell at you. You never been yelled at before? I've been yelled at. Who hasn't been yelled at? A couple of jerks drove by the house, yelling at him, then drove off. Took down the license plate, called the cops. Now the mom and dad are in jail. Dad for 13 years, mom for 6 years. Because they yelled at a black person. Because they yelled at a black person. Because they yelled at a black person. They didn't kill a black person. They didn't rape a black person. They didn't rob a black person. They didn't kill the kids, rape the kids, or steal it from them. They just yelled at them. How many times have white people been raped, robbed, beaten, and murdered by black people, and the black guys got less than 3 years? Less than 3 years! This is okay? This is justice? This is the reality. This is about role reversal. This is about putting white people in chains in their own country. This is the kind of stuff that makes Richard Spencer look like a genius, which is terrifying. Where does something like this end? This cannot possibly end well for anyone. This is the kind of thing that sends our society in a very, very wrong direction. It's the kind of thing that divides people. No justice. This is the kind of thing that leads to civil war. This is horrifying. This could be a watershed moment in and of itself. This is unacceptable. I wish there was a way to help this couple. This is not justice. This is not justice. A mother being taken away from her children, locked in prison for 6 years because she yelled at somebody. If she had yelled at a white person, there's no way she'd be in jail right now. This is because she yelled at a black person. This is the situation in America. Is it also the situation in Canada? Is it also the situation in the United Kingdom, France, Australia? Is this the situation across white countries? If white people assert themselves in any way, we're going to look for a way to punish you. I don't know. But this is horrifying. This was absolutely an act of institutionalized racism. Outrageous. 6 years for the mother, 13 years for the father because they yelled at a black person. How many times have black people yelled and screamed at whites and gotten nothing? And nothing happens to them. Is there any possibility, would you even have a hope in prayer of convicting a black person for yelling at you? Would you? Some couple of random black guys pull up to you at a gas station, start yelling and screaming at you, and then they leave? Would any judge in the country convict those people of anything? Doubtful. Something's got to give. I don't know what the solution for this is. This is horrifying behavior. On both on the behalf of the plaintiff and on behalf of the judge. Here's what I do know. This is another example of institutionalized prejudice against whites. And the reality of the situation is that what we're really being punished for here is our kindness. We used to run our own societies. They belonged to us. We were the absolute authority. Nobody could question us. We were 100% in charge. And we had an attack of conscience. We decided we need to start being nice, really nice to other people, other races, other cultures. And we bent over backwards. And that capitulation has been seen as weakness. And now we're having our societies taken away from us. 2040 is the year, the red letter day for the United States, when white people become a minority. 2050 is the red letter day for Canada, although if we increase our immigration intake to 500,000, like Justin wants to, then we'll be right on par with the United States. 2030 is the red letter day for the United Kingdom. In fact, it already happened. I think it was 2015. White children born in 2015 were already the minority births in the UK. When white people become minorities in their own countries, when they're not in charge anymore, and now your entire fate is in the hands of people of color, what's going to happen to you? What's going to happen? Is there going to be affirmative action for whites? Are they going to give special scholarships for whites to try and help white people succeed and climb the social ladder? No, of course not. It's going to be more like South Africa. Are you even going to have any rights at all, or will you just be systematically executed? Because it's very, very, very clear that if you're white, the whole damn world hates you. Specifically black people. You have no rights in your own damn countries. Our countries, founded by white people, founded by Christians. And it started with Christianity, right? Christianity was the belief system for our society. In 1829 in Canada, 99% of the population went to church every damn Sunday. It's less than half today. It was definitely down by 1919. It would have been down. It would have been down below 80. And today it's got to be down below half. Christians have been marginalized in their own countries. countries formed by Christians, laws and institutions created, laws written by Christians, based on the Bible, institutions created by Christians in the image of Christianity, changed, secularized, and Christians marginalized in their own countries. Christians first, then white people. Now white people are being marginalized in their own countries. White people are experiencing institutionalized prejudice. That's what this is. That's what this is. Being thrown in jail for speaking out of turn. For not saying, yes sir, sorry sir. That's what this is. That's exactly what this is. This is horrifying. Here's what I do know. Nobody gives a shit about white people, even other white people. So white people have absolutely no future unless, bare minimum, white people form a political group of some kind. If there isn't something similar to the NAACP for whites, some specific white group, and a group like that's almost impossible to form, because there'll be people trying to shut it down as soon as you try. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if, I don't know, I get doxxed for just this recording, which is probably only getting like 5 listens to. But it's got to be done. White people have to find a way to organize. Look at South Africa. 70,000 people murdered since apartheid ended. Brutally murdered. Farmers have been tied up, and they were forced to watch while their wives and daughters were brutally raped in front of them. Then the farmer physically tortured to death, and they let the farmer go. And in so many cases, he's so just destroyed by having to see this, he ends up taking his own life. After years of doing this to farmers, how does the government react to this? By threatening to nationalize the farms and take away the farmers' property completely. Only 15% of the farms in South Africa are actually owned by independent white farmers. The rest of them are just owned by corporations controlled, that have to answer the government. 90% of the taxes in South Africa are paid by whites, even though there are only 6 million people, a small portion of the population. 1 million people were pushed into poverty. Poverty by black economic empowerment. The black government created a black economic empowerment, which is like affirmative action, for the black majority, saying that jobs and positions that whites have held for years have to be given to blacks. So whites who are the minority are denied equal and fair job opportunity. And why I say 1 million are pushed into poverty was because black economic empowerment brought in 1 million black immigrants from outside South Africa. So not South African people, non-South African blacks are brought in by BEP and given jobs, while at the same time 1 million whites were pushed into poverty and lost their jobs. So the black government would rather give jobs to black foreigners than its own people, because it doesn't see the whites as its own people, even though they are the ones paying for everything. Then what did it do to the white people after they were in poverty? They were squatting in parks. They had nowhere else to go. They didn't like seeing them in these big city parks. They threw them out. The army rounded them up and stuck them on a garbage dump on top of a fucking landfill. Well, they had no access to anything. Then the white people, the other white people, the rest of the white people formed a political lobby group and tried to lobby the government to at least give these poor people water. And they said no for like over a year. Until they gained some international attention for these white people, and they said, the black government, I think it's called the ANC, doesn't like international attention. So then they decided to bring water. You know what they brought in? 1 tap. The kind of tap you have on the side of your house that you hook up a garden hose to. 1 million people expected to get water from a garden hose. We have done better than that for people living in World Vision has done better than that. World Vision has done better than that. Unbelievable. 1 tap. 1 tap. Why? Because they're white and fuck white people. Now, guess what? These same asshole Africans are crashing the gates in Morocco, storming into Europe. What's the first thing to do when they get there? Rape people. Then they're part of the immigration system and they end up anywhere they want to go, including Canada. What's the first thing they do get here? Rape people. It wasn't long after we started taking in illegal immigrants after Donald Trump that someone was gang raped. A white woman was gang raped in Saskatchewan. 4 brown guys pulled up to a gas station in a truck and gang raped her. Gang rape has never existed in my lifetime in Canada. I'm 33 years old. Never once happened. Never once in my dad's lifetime. Gang rape is brand new. This is a kind of Robert Pickton thing. This is a thing that should have been on the news for weeks, but it wasn't. Another refugee also sexually assaulted someone in Edmonton, Alberta. He sexually assaulted young girls at a water park. This guy's going to be out of jail next year. Why? Because he's brown, and the people he assaulted were white, and fuck white people. There was a young woman, a case in the news, I think this year, maybe last year, again in Alberta. She was trying to bring a sexual assault case to trial. So she's a victim of sexual assault. A victim of rape, actually. It was rape. I should say rape when it's rape. Sexual assault is when you walk up and... Sexual assault is what happened. Well, that was grabbing the girls' butts and fondling them. That's what he did. Which is disgusting. It's gross. It should carry the same sentence as rape, in my opinion. But for whatever reason, people distinguish the difference. I don't know why. So let's talk about the girl who was raped. It took her a long time, over a decade, to bring her court case to trial. And because it didn't see trial, within a certain period of time, it was thrown out of court. So her attacker was able to stall. Her attacker, being a man of color, was able to stall long enough to get the case thrown out of trial. This caused a whole big stir in the papers. Mainstream media. And shortly after, the Alberta government passed an amendment. And guess what they said? They said you have to get a court case to trial within 18 months or it gets thrown out. So what they did was they just made it easier to throw cases out. I think it was 20 years, actually. But they made it easier to throw cases out. That's what they did. And they're doing the same thing in the United Kingdom. Now, when there's so many sexual assaults happening in the United Kingdom that these cases just aren't going to trial anymore. Just period. It's not going to trial. They did the same exact thing. Shorten the window. It's something like less than a year. If you can't get to trial within a year, it's thrown out. So people who are getting sexually assaulted by migrants have absolutely no chance for justice. Why? Because the people doing the raping are men of color, and the girls getting raped are white. And fuck white people. And that's the United Kingdom. And let's go back to the United States. A group of refugees moved in next door to a white couple. Kids. Sexually assaulted an 8-year-old girl. They were not removed. The culprits were not removed from the home. The family was forced to stay living next to the same people for months before the case finally saw a trial. And it was thrown out of court. And those kids are back in the neighborhood, able to rape this girl again. No justice. Why? Because the rapists were dark, and the little girl they raped was white, and fuck white people. And now I have to turn on the computer today and hear about parents, a mother and a father, being taken away from their children. Children are going to grow up without ever knowing their father. 13 years he's in jail. They're going to grow up completely distanced and disassociated from their mother. 6 years she's in jail. And why are they in jail? Because they yelled at a black person. And you just don't do that. You just don't do that. You're at the bottom of the ladder. Don't you know your place? Don't you know your place in white society today? No, no, no. You say, yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what you say around black people. You say, yes, sir. No, they're in jail. They're not in jail because they yelled at people. They're in jail because white people need to know their place. That you're at the bottom rung and we're going to get rid of you. Just fuck white people. All of this, while at the same time, today I was reminded in my Twitter feed, white people will be a minority in the United States by 2040. So when I'm 50, my kids are finally hitting their 20s, my little girls are going to be a minority. And there probably will be a minority in Canada by that time too. Or at least by 2050. There'll be no rights for them, no opportunity for them, no justice. White people don't even get to live in segregated neighborhoods. Even at the worst possible times for black people had black communities where they could go live with other black people and not be bothered by whites. But whites don't even have that. We don't even get segregation. They won't even put us off in a little white box and make us live there. They won't even let us live like that. They won't let us do that. No, we don't get anything. We don't even get one segregated community. No. We just get to live in a nightmare where you have to walk on eggshells all the time, where anyone can do anything they want to you at any time. They can break into your house and steal your shit. They can beat the shit out of you. They can kill you, cut off your penis, rape your wife, rape your daughter, chop open her stomach and rip a baby out of her stomach. And that actually happened in the United Kingdom. Pregnant woman was attacked by a brown guy. No, I think it was a black guy. One of the two. Does it make any fucking difference at this point? Attacked by a dark guy, a migrant. Attacked a pregnant woman, cut open her stomach and ripped out her baby and killed her. A white woman in the United States made the mistake of moving into what is up and coming neighborhoods like Brooklyn, and black people got angry. Remember when black people were leaving black neighborhoods to work into white communities and white people got angry? And we all said that was really, really wrong and bad. And we said, shame on you, white people. What was the worst that they did at that time? Like burn crosses in your front lawn? Nope. Right? What did the KKK do? The worst thing the KKK did, they lynched people, right? Well, what's the worst thing black people have done? White people moving into a black neighborhood. Black people don't like it. They call it gentrification. The first signs of gentrification, a white woman jogging or a white woman pushing a stroller. Black man walked up to a white girl with her baby in the stroller, pulled out a gun, and shot the fucking baby. Even at the worst times of racism against blacks, do you ever remember hearing stories of the Ku Klux Klan killing a fucking baby? Do you ever remember the Ku Klux Klan cutting open a black woman's stomach and ripping the baby out from her womb? The violence against whites is even worse than that of the KKK against blacks. So what's the situation? And it's not just in America, it's everywhere. It's dark on white violence. And it's everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. So what's the situation? You have nothing. You have no rights, no freedom, no future. Dark people can do anything they want to you at any time. They can come into your house and take your stuff. They can kill you. They can chop off your penis. They can rape your wife, rape your daughter, murder your wife and daughter. And they can say and do anything they want to you. There's nothing you can do to stop them. You don't even get segregation. You get to become a minority in your country, and eventually you're going to be killed off. That's your future. Your future is one where you don't exist anymore. You just don't exist. And you're supposed to just accept it, and you better not say anything about it. Just accept the fact that you're going to be killed off because fuck white people. White people don't have a future unless they band together. We need to at least be political. The end.